Scientists pulled mud cores from the American coastline. Not artifacts, not ruins. Mud. Layers of compacted sediment, untouched for centuries. Inside that mud, they found DNA fragments that shouldn't exist there. Genetic markers are loosely associated with the Mediterranean, in layers dated to before Columbus ever sailed. If that signal is real, it suggests Europeans may have reached the Americas more than 1,000 years earlier than we thought. But here's the twist. DNA can lie, and the biggest mistake people make is assuming DNA equals proof. So did Roman ships reach America long before Columbus? The headlines say yes, the evidence says slow down. And the truth lives in that gap. For centuries, the story of the Americas seemed settled. Indigenous civilizations flourished independently for thousands of years. Then, in the late 15th century, Europeans arrived, violently, decisively, and changed everything. That timeline felt firm, comfortably complete. Then science complicated it. First came whispers. Roman coins reportedly found in American soil. Then claims of amphorae pulled from coastal waters. And finally, the most provocative claim of all, ancient DNA. Each discovery alone was questionable. Together, they hinted at something unsettling. But before we jump to conclusions, there's something crucial we need to understand. Because this is the moment where curiosity either becomes discovery or collapses into myth. At its height in the 2nd century CE, the Roman Empire stretched across 3 continents, from North Africa to Britain, from Spain to the Near East. Roman engineers built roads that still shape Europe today. Their ports handled vast trade networks. Their merchant ships crossed the Mediterranean with confidence and precision. Roman sailors followed Atlantic coastlines. They reached the British Isles. They likely traded as far south as West Africa. The technology existed. Sturdy hulls, complex sail rigs, navigation based on stars, winds, and currents. But here's the critical distinction. Coastal travel is not oceanic exploration. And no Roman text describes a deliberate transatlantic voyage. No Roman map shows a land beyond the Atlantic. No Roman historian even hints at a world across the ocean. Still, the question refuses to die. Because possibility has a way of haunting history. And that's where the artifacts come in. For more than a century, claims of Roman objects in the Americas have surfaced with eerie regularity. Coins discovered in fields, stone inscriptions carved with unfamiliar symbols, amphora-like vessels dredged from the sea. Some Roman coins, bronze and silver, reportedly found in places as distant as Alabama, Texas, and Mexico. Coins bearing the faces of emperors like Augustus and Constantine. At first glance, it feels explosive. But archaeology doesn't ask what was found. It asks where, how, and with what context. And this is where the story starts to crack. Nearly every Roman coin discovered in the Americas lacks secure archaeological context. No sealed stratigraphy, no datable layers, no association with pre-Columbian material culture. Most are found by hobbyists, or during construction, or long after European colonization. Coins are small. They travel easily. They can be carried as curios, collected, traded, lost centuries after they were minted. A Roman coin in American soil proves only one thing. At some point, that coin arrived there. Not when, not how, and certainly not why. The same problem plagues the amphorae. Many turn out to be natural rock formations, or misidentified ceramics, or modern debris. A few remain ambiguous, but ambiguity is not confirmation. And just when the artifact story begins to lose momentum, DNA enters the conversation. In the last 2 decades, ancient DNA has transformed archaeology. It confirmed Viking presence in North America. It traced prehistoric migrations across Eurasia. It revealed population movements invisible to artifacts alone. DNA feels definitive, scientific, unarguable. So, when researchers began reporting faint Mediterranean genetic signals in ancient American remains, attention exploded. Headlines spread fast. Social media spread faster. Romans in America. But this is where excitement begins to outrun evidence, because DNA is powerful and DNA is dangerous. Ancient DNA does not come back as a clean genetic blueprint. It comes back fragmented, degraded, incomplete. Time breaks DNA into tiny pieces, and those pieces are vulnerable. A single modern skin cell can contaminate a 2,000-year-old sample. Laboratory reagents can introduce foreign sequences. Airborne particles can alter results. And more importantly, genetic similarity does not equal direct contact. Many genetic markers associated with southern Europe today originated tens of thousands of years ago, long before Rome existed. They spread through ancient migrations, through shared Eurasian ancestry, through pathways that have nothing to do with Roman ships. So, when a faint Mediterranean-like signal appears in ancient American samples, multiple explanations exist. Deep prehistoric migration across Beringia, shared ancient ancestry, post-Columbian contamination, laboratory error, or, theoretically, pre-Columbian transoceanic contact. DNA alone cannot tell us which, and that's the part often left out of the headlines. In the most cited cases, the supposed European signals represent less than 1% of the genetic material analyzed. They appear inconsistently. They vanish in later layers. They fail replication across laboratories. When pressed, the scientists themselves are cautious. They don't claim Roman voyages. They describe anomalies, unexpected patterns, signals requiring further study. The leap from unexpected genetic data to Romans reached America is not made by the science. It's made by interpretation. And this is where the conflict sharpens: public excitement versus scientific restraint. So let's ask the uncomfortable question. Could Romans have crossed the Atlantic at all? Critics argue Roman ships weren't built for it. They were designed for Mediterranean predictability, not Atlantic chaos. But oceans don't care about intent. Storm-driven vessels can drift. Currents can carry ships westward. Accidents happen. Modern recreations have crossed the Atlantic in far simpler boats: papyrus rafts, leather curraghs, open vessels with no engines. So could a Roman ship once by accident make it across? Possibly. Return? Almost impossible. But almost is not never. And history doesn't run on impossibility, it runs on evidence. Which brings us to the gold standard. At Lens-aux-Meadows in Newfoundland, Viking presence is undeniable. Clearly Norse buildings, ironworking debris, radiocarbon dates, tree ring dating tied to a known solar storm. Artifacts match Scandinavian technology precisely. This is what confirmation looks like. For Romans in America, no settlements, no burials, no tools, no inscriptions in secure context, no shipwrecks, no consistent genetic signature. Not one benchmark met. Extraordinary claims don't require extraordinary belief. They require extraordinary proof. So, why does the theory endure? Because it's seductive. Romans in America feels like a hidden chapter, a secret connection between worlds, a story waiting to be uncovered. And DNA feels authoritative. Numbers feel objective, but data without context can mislead as easily as folklore. Curiosity drives discovery. Skepticism protects truth. Both are essential. And here's the part most people miss. Modern archaeology isn't closing the door. New techniques, sediment DNA, isotope analysis, high-resolution dating, underwater archaeology, are advancing rapidly. Coastlines once thought empty are being re-examined. Ocean floors are being scanned with unprecedented precision. If a Roman wreck exists, it may be buried under sand right now. If evidence is there, it won't stay hidden forever. But until then, possibility is not proof. Capability is not confirmation. And history is not rewritten by what we want to find. It's rewritten by what survives scrutiny. So, did ancient DNA prove Romans reached America? No. What it proved is something more important. That the past is complex, that our tools are imperfect, and that certainty is fragile. Romans in America remains an intriguing hypothesis, a story at the edge of plausibility. waiting not for belief, but for evidence. And somewhere beneath the Atlantic, history may still be holding its breath. So, what do you think? Coincidence, contamination, or contact? Let us know in the comments. But bring evidence, not assumptions. And if you want more history where curiosity meets skepticism,